I don't know where the Prime Minister is. Do you know where he is, Tom?
Missing one Scott John Morrison. Last known whereabouts, Melbourne, Australia, last Thursday.
But where the bloody hell are you?
Great question, Lara. Word has it on holidays with his family in Hawaii. But we don't know for sure because the PM's office will only tell us that he's on leave for a few days.
Where's Scott in?
Where's
Scott in.
The Prime Minister is overseas with his family. He's having a well-deserved break, and obviously it's been a very busy year.
And look, everyone deserves a holiday and some family time, but is now really the time?
We've got heatwave conditions coming right across Australia, massive bushfires burning. Probably not the best time, but the Prime Minister is entitled to take time off at some stage.
Our already exhausted fireys are currently battling more than 100 blazes, burning through millions of hectares of bush across almost every state. Fire bosses warning of the worst possible circumstances as temps hit the mid-40s this week. Homes and lives will yet again be at risk.
What I'm seeing is an absolute crisis in the leadership that we do not have right now in this country.
Critics have been quick to point out that when former Victorian Police Chief Christine Nixon just went for dinner with friends during the Black Saturday bushfires, she was crucified for it.
She's clearly made a bad judgment call. That happens to people from time to time, but this was a very serious issue, and I think there are very serious concerns in the community about exercising judgment. And it's incumbent on all of us in public life to make decisions following that in the best interests of the ongoing nature of the program.
But it should be noted that the PM doesn't have to be physically out of the country to be MIA.
Frankly, at the moment, the federal government's not doing much in this space anyway, so I don't think it really matters.
Former fire chiefs today announcing they'll be holding an emergency bushfire summit next year with or without the Prime Minister, who for nearly 9 months now has refused to meet with them.
Australians are talking about these fires and they're talking about climate change, and there's an appetite in the community to listen to the experts and to act on their advice. That appetite is not shared by the Prime Minister, and that is a shameful thing.
Hopefully, by the time that rolls around, the PM will be refreshed and ready to lead.
Our leadership is asleep at the wheel. In fact, in some areas, I think it's on life support.
No more platitudes, no more weasel words. Let's get on with it.
We do know where political journalist Sam Maiden is. She's right there, and she joins us now. Sam, do you know where our Prime Minister is?
Well, it's a question everybody wants to know. Where the bloody hell are you, Prime Minister? Look, there was a lot of speculation that he was in Hawaii. The Prime Minister's office told me that that's not the case. Doing a bit of basic maths, he's only taking 4 or 5 days off. I don't think he's gone too far. Big fan of Fiji. Probably hasn't gone to Christmas Island, so maybe somewhere close by.
Sam, given the Prime Minister's long-held stance on climate change, do you think this is a deliberate move to be out of the country right now? Or do you think he just hasn't read the room?
I think probably the latter. Look, in fairness to the Prime Minister, he has made it clear he does believe in the science of climate change. He does see a link between, the drought, the extreme weather and the bushfires. But he does also make the point that, nothing that he specifically would have done, he believes, in terms of having tougher emissions reduction standards would have made an impact on global warming, this year. It's more about what the world does together, if you like. But look, there does seem to be a bit of a read-rooming issue. There's a lot of people on social media asking the question of where he is, as Sydney and Canberra have been choked with smog. People aren't taking too kindly to the Prime Minister nicking off.
Sam, I think the thing that we're not really identifying here is that leaders seem to love putting themselves about in bushfire crises, wearing hard hats or firefighting gear or high-vis vests, depending on the crisis that is before them. This is like a rite of passage. It's conspicuous, isn't it, that suddenly there's a leader-shaped hole in our visual image here.
Well, he has done, some of that. He has been to some of those centres. It's not like he's not interested, but he is clearly under pressure. And we saw that, this week as well, with some retired former fire chiefs in New South Wales saying that they would like to see a more national approach, a national task force. So, perhaps he is avoiding it a bit because he's worried about that sort of criticism. Perhaps he's just, engaging in a bit of juggling act where he's trying to make a bit of time for his family.
Sam, I think that is them calling your train. We better let you go. Thank you very much for speaking to us.